I'm Zandile Mkhwanazi, CEO of Girl Code.
And I'm Denise Chinnapin, Technology Portfolio Executive at Bet Software.
Welcome to yet another episode of Technically Speaking, a Girl Code podcast in partnership with Bet Software. So here we will be talking about and to women across the African continent who are doing amazing things in the tech space. And we hope that you will be educated, inspired, and motivated to take up space in the tech industry.
Joining us today is a very special guest. We've got Vanusha Pillay, who's a security analyst at Bet Software.
I'm super excited to talk to Vanusha. But before that, I think let's set the tone. Recently, last year, a SEP report called The Tech Skill Scarcity Revealed talked about, out of everyone, all the companies that they talked to, about 63% of them indicated that there is a shortage for cybersecurity experts. And backing that also is the World Economic Forum, which indicated that currently, globally, there's about 4 million jobs for cybersecurity experts. So it's safe to say you are in high demand, Vanusha. But yeah, I think before we get into the cybersecurity, maybe tell us a bit about your background and your journey in tech and how you got here.
So my background, when I was in school, I actually wanted to study medicine.
Okay.
So completely different from what I'm doing now. So when I matriculated, that changed. I suddenly had an interest in IT because my brother was into computers. He used to fiddle with the computers, and so I got a bit exposed to that. So I developed an interest in that. And so when it came time to choose what I wanted to study, I went with IT. So in college, I majored in software development. So that's what my focus was on for a few years. And I think in college, they don't really expose you to, the different aspects of IT. So it's like you think you have a limited options of what you can apply for and what you can specialize in. But after I finished college, I realized that there's so much more you can do besides development or, like the common fields that you can go into. So I was applying for internships, and one among all the internships that I applied for was a cybersecurity internship. So most of them were about development and programming, and I just decided to take a chance on the cybersecurity one. And that was the one I ended up getting into. So from there, that sparked more interest in cybersecurity because I did training. I've got the relevant certificates, which is your CompTIA Security Plus, ethical hacking. So from there, I decided that I want to full on get into cybersecurity.
Nice. That is so amazing. And actually, I think you're also an ethical hacker. You've got certification, right? So maybe talk a bit about what that means, because I think a lot of people also don't know what cybersecurity is and how you get into it. So with your expertise, I think it'd be good to understand a bit of background about cybersecurity.
So cybersecurity essentially is, being able to put measures, processes in place that actually help to prevent cybercrime, right? We all hear the word hackers. We hear the terminologies like phishing and spoofing and all of these aspects of social engineering that speak to crime in general that occurs on the internet. And the security aspect of this at a cyber level is just really focused on how do we prevent that in an open space, which is the internet, right? Talking about certified ethical hacker, it is actually a thing, right? And a lot of people don't know about it. Now, you're probably going to want to know, what's an ethical hacker? A hacker is a hacker is a hacker, no matter which way you cut it, right? But a certified ethical hacker is actually where you would go and you would learn to become certified and trained to actually do hacking execute it in a way that does not violate certain regulations or, things like privacy and all of those sort of things that we are talking about. It's actually working within a controlled sort of framework, but doing good with it as opposed to doing bad.
Yes.
That's essentially what a certified ethical hacker will do.
Okay, interesting. I don't really have any experience from the cyber security specialist side, but I do have experience where we've been hacked, and our organization has been hacked. So it's definitely something that's in demand. I mean, even for us, looking for people that have the skill set, and we're just finding that not a lot of people even you touched on it, even know that there's a career in this. And I think maybe from you being in it, if you can talk us through, like, I understand that, it's just creating preventative measures, but what is it that you do on a day-to-day basis? And you don't have to give away trade secrets, right? But like, just so that someone who's young and is thinking, okay, could this be a career for me? Like, what is it exactly that they'll be doing?
So basically, I'm an analyst. So basically what I do on a day-to-day basis, I investigate. It's basically like, say for example, a detective. It's a similar thing, except you are investigating threats, any attacks that come in, you investigate that. So basically I investigate, I figure out whether it's actually a threat or not. And from there we take measures. It gets escalated, or if I can prevent it myself, then I will put in the measures in place for that.
That's really interesting. So you are a cyber investigator. No, really, I think, again, like, just talking from our Gold Coast community, cybersecurity is one of those in-demand expertise that companies are looking for. And although we haven't really started training people, it's something we're definitely looking into. Just to kind of give an example of how seriously we're taking this, we've just had a recent advisory board member coming on board, and she's a certified ethical hacker. And so we kind of excited also to put together a program that can train young people and say, hey, there are 4 million global jobs out there and they need you to be in it, right? So that's kind of what we plan on doing in the coming years. And I think maybe Denise, from your side also, like from BetSoft, I'm sure this is an in-demand skill that you are looking for in-house. Are there programs that you're putting together in terms of getting more people like Vanusha to be in it? And also, I think something that she touched on, which is very important, is she didn't really set out, right, to be in the space. So how do we also change that narrative and just make sure that young people in general know that, oh, okay, I studied IT. I don't have to just look for software development like jobs or internships. I can actually get into other things.
Yeah, I'm going to start with, sort of that entry point of where you would actually almost sort of get a funnel of people and then expose them to different things other than just software development. I've been there, Vanusha. All you ever get told is software development is your career and this is what you should focus into until you get to the work environment. And then there's a whole host of other roles, there's other jobs, right? So at Bet Software, we've got a graduate program, and there are internships that we actually offer. And the interns who come through this have usually gone through a similar process in the universities. They've gone and studied a degree in IT or in software engineering. And they come into our environment and they get exposed at BET to all the various phases and all the different types of roles. So all the way from your software design, your business analyst, all the way down to obviously being able to maintain the software. Security is an area where we certainly make sure that the interns are exposed to. So it gives them a nice opportunity to identify with other roles within the software space, right? And for many of them, they initially have come in saying, I want to be a developer. But by the time they go through that year worth of internship, a lot of them have actually come back and said, actually, I would want to go into QA or BA. I want to do security. It just sounds really interesting. I mean, come on, we heard what her job sounds like. It's interesting, right? And so that's the one element there in terms of what Betty's doing to change the narrative around how do we bring in skills that are in a high demand, that are very, very scarce right now. And security is certainly one of those, right? You talked about also from the perspective of the cyber elements, security. What does it actually mean for us at Bet? Yes, we've had our moments. We've had our instances where we've experienced phishing, and not everyone in the organization is aware of how to respond. You see an email, it looks like it's coming from the right sender, but obviously it's not, because, there's one letter that's different, ever so subtle sort of differences and changes. So, we have people like Vanusha, and obviously a much greater team as well, that helps to support that, to make sure that we are protected, not just as an organization, but even our people internally are equipped and have the right process or the protocols to have to follow.
Yeah, no, I think after that particular incident that we had at our organization, which was phishing, we had to also do training, just at a basic level to understand, like you're saying, an email coming saying, Zandile Mkhwanazi, and saying, hey guys, send me money to this account because of what, literally that's what happened. And the money was almost sent. That's the scary part. So I think there's a lot of awareness that needs to be done. But I think just going back and touching on some of the sort of additional skill sets, right? I think someone who, again, is thinking, okay, I'm interested. What are the skills? Like, what are the online skills, if any? Or, do they need to go back to university? Do they just need to do the ethical hacker certificate? What are some of those skills that you found have helped you in your journey and just help you kind of improve and get better at what you do, that you think would be of value to someone that's interested to be in the same industry as you are?
So I think to start, a good certificate to get is the CompTIA Security Plus. So for me, because I got it when I did my first internship, it helped a lot to, get a good footing in the industry. So the CompTIA Security Plus and the EC Council Certified Ethical Hacker certification, those two are the ones that will really help, get you into the space.
Yeah, and they're all online, right? So you have to go to university?
No,
college?
it's all self-paced and online, but you'd obviously have to pay for the certificate.
Of course, yes.
Yes. I was going to ask, Vanusha, obviously, because this is quite a niche market, a skill, do you have an idea in terms of costs as to what these courses will actually cost an individual wanting to go down that road?
So I believe the CompTIA Security Plus is around 3,000.
Okay.
And
so
I'm not too
affordable to an extent.
Yes. The Certified Ethical Hacker I'm not too sure about, but I believe it's a bit more than the Security Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's important to invest in yourself, right? And invest in the right skills. I think what we're seeing a lot with graduates is also they're spending money on the wrong skill sets and then sort of wondering, why is no one hiring me? Or they're getting certificates in an industry that's already saturated. And so the way I started, that there's such high demand that if you invest at 3,000, could potentially, end up being a full-time job where you're earning a salary and all of that. So it's just about, the willingness to invest in yourself and also researching and finding out more. And like you're saying, you have graduate program. I'm sure there's many others there that young people can get into and kind of start to understand how they can then, because sometimes you just need to get your foot in the door and then work your way into the different specialities, right?
Yeah. Now, you said something very important there, right? Which is get your foot in the door. How do you do that? How do we also then find a way to impart knowledge and then skills into this generation coming behind us? Now, I know Bet and Girl Code, work together and collaborate very, very much on things like the hackathons, and then there's the mentorship programs as well that we are involved in, particularly with you guys on. I'd love to hear how that is actually working for you guys. You know, are you seeing more of the girl codes candidates coming into the security space because of all of these investments? What does that look like?
Yeah, I think mentorship is quite important, right? As a young person, not knowing what you're walking into and kind of having a little bit of fear, we've seen mentorship makes a huge difference because you have someone to lean on and ask, okay, what does it involve? How do I prepare myself? How do I make sure that I'm ready for, this industry that I'm getting into? And we've certainly seen a huge difference, right? So not so much in cybersecurity because, again, there's so little mentors out there, people that are already in the space. And Vanusha, I'm going to put you in the spot, and I hope you mentor, you join the mentorship program as a mentor, just so that some of our younger girls can learn from you, because it's quite important to learn from someone who's walked the journey. And what we've seen is it makes a difference in them being able to determine whether it's a career that they want to do or a specialization that they want to go into or not. Sometimes it's no, that's not for me, but that's equally as important as knowing that something's for you. Yeah. So it's great, and we love having partnerships like that because they give exposure to young people that they wouldn't otherwise have, and they give them just a tangible, this is where I could be, right? And this is how I get there. So creating that roadmap is quite important. So it's a great partnership altogether.
Oh, fantastic. Now, Vanusha, I wanted to ask a little bit more around. You've got your base certifications, which is your Security Plus. You've got your Ethical Hacker. What's next? I mean, this is obviously a skill that you need to work on developing all the time because hackers evolve, they get smarter and smarter, and every time you close one door and you lock that, another one opens someplace else, right? So how do you stay relevant? How do you keep yourself, upskilled to the point of where you are able to be as responsive as necessary for the attack that you're trying to prevent?
So I think an important thing would be following groups online. There are groups that post, recent attacks and anything new that's found in terms of cybersecurity. So it's good to keep up to date with that. So, if you see it in the environment that you're working in, you'll be able to respond effectively. Mm-hmm. And I would say continuous learning as well. Even after you get the certificates, it's important to get the experience as well, hands-on experience. And that's also where the mentorship comes in. You need people to, show you certain things. Whatever you're not sure about, you need someone to at least guide you in the right direction. So I think that would be good to stay responsive to new threats. And obviously, if you see something new and you haven't seen it before, you learn from that as well. You take down notes, and thereafter you can handle it better in future.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think something that came to mind as well, I don't know if you know the website, Try Hack Me, I think
Yes.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. I will go on it and try and hack and see kind of what you encounter. But I don't know. Yeah, I wanted you to talk to that and how it can help.
So Try Hack Me they have different rooms which you can start, and it's different topics. So you'll have things that are more focused on networking, but it's all got to do with your cybersecurity. So, and they also have virtual machines as well, where you can practice on those rooms. I believe there is also a few hacking rooms as well. And there is also another one that's called Hack the Box, which is pretty similar. And they have something called CTF, where you basically catch the flag. So that's one of the cybersecurity exercises that they have there.
Interesting. Interesting. I think I will definitely go and try and hack. I know every time you talk about the word hacking, people automatically, right, assume it's a bad thing. But there's obviously the other part of it, the ethical hacking, where it's about preventative and helping organizations. And I think definitely we need more of that. And we would definitely encourage our co-coders to go into that particular space. So with that, I think maybe, Denise, I'll throw it to you. Just kind of like the 3 key things you think that our audience should learn from this, and, you know, from hearing Vanusha's experience and what cybersecurity is about, like what would you like to leave us with?
I think it's important, again, to have the right level of awareness. You know, the stats often show that, you know, people get hacked because they don't know, right? They don't know enough. You know, whether it's your Facebook accounts or all of those sort of, you know, sort of day-to-day sort of social elements that you integrate and you interact with. So getting that awareness in terms of what exactly these attacks sort of look like just makes all the difference. I think that's the starting point, because it's always like the top 5 awareness, right? And I think the other thing for me that's very important is, if you are not sure, ask someone. You know, ask. There's nothing wrong, or there's nothing, we shouldn't be embarrassed to ask if we are not sure about whether an email looks a bit dodgy. I mean, look at your guys' situation. It would have saved you guys quite a lot of that grief up until that point, right? So for me, absolutely ask if you are not sure. And then when all else fails, I would say just wait. You know, wait on something. You know, we often sort of feel that we have to be responsible. I mean, yes. All of us at some point, I think, have received little texts that say that you have inherited X amount of millions of pounds. You know, just text your details to this number. Yeah. That's, you know, those are those things. You know, if it's a case of it's too good to be true, you got to believe and trust the fact that in some instances, and most of those instances, it is too good to be true.
I was literally about to say, if it's too good to be true, don't do it. And I think one of the things actually is there's always urgency. Like, you have to click this button right now, or, you know, you lose the money. So if there's something like that, like you have to send it now, I think just pause and don't do it, right? Vanusha, maybe from you, like, what final words or imparting knowledge would you like to give to, like, the audience out there and young people that are aspiring to be where you are, right? I think some nuggets of knowledge, encouragement, anything that you feel, you know, if you were younger, you'd want someone to say to you.
So I think a good thing that I can say is, if young people want to get into the industry, it would be good to, you know, push yourself. Don't feel like you can't do something. That's the most important thing. And it can be intimidating to, you know, go into like an internship, or if you're like fresh into a new job, and you'll see that other people know more than you, or maybe you feel they're more skilled than you. But it's important to know that you have the power to, like, work on your own skills. And so it's important to motivate yourself and put the effort into developing your own skills, and also being positive. So I think that's a good...
I love that. I think, like, it basically boils down to, you need to put yourself out there. Right. We've heard where women, especially, like, if they don't have 100% the requirements, they don't go for it. So I think we're at a point where you have to put yourself out there. You have to take a chance on yourself. But also it's important to continue to learn. You can't say, I'm done with university, that's it, I've learned. There's so much knowledge that's out there. So make sure that, you know, you are continuously learning and improving on your skill set, so that you can bring value to whatever organization that you join. So that's kind of what I get from you. And just to end it off, right, we like to end it off with a Woman Crush Wednesday. So I want to give you a bit of time to think about it while we talk about ours. I think I'll go first. So mine this week has to be Sheryl Sandberg. I think a lot of us do know her. She was the CEO at Meta now, and also has an amazing book called Lean In, right? And I think that's what we as women need to do more. We need to lean in, and the best way you do that is also coming equipped with the tools and the knowledge, that you give yourself. You don't just show up and hope for the best. You literally have to make sure that you have the right skill sets to help you in that process. So that's my Woman Crush Wednesday. Denise, before we go to our guest, who's yours?
So mine is very, very close to home, and it's close to home because my middle name is Edwina. Right. And so Ada Lovelace is absolutely one of those there. She's the first lady, I believe, of Lines of Code, right? You can't get more inspirational than that in terms of setting the stage for what we are now a huge part of in the internet and in the technology space.
Yeah, I love that. You guys have that in common. Vanusha?
Yes, I was actually going to say Ada Lovelace as well.
Okay, so she's clearly very inspirational, right? Yeah.
Yes, because, she was the first programmer. So I think that set the tone for women and what they can do.
100%, yeah.
So I think I've always admired her because even when I was in college and I learned that, the first programmer was a woman, I think that motivated me a lot as well to, just continue pushing myself.
Yeah, and I think that's a good message there for our audience, especially young women, that we've been doing it. This is nothing new. And so there's no reason to be intimidated by it. And we are constantly inspired by also young women that are taking up space in very male-dominated industry. Security sounds very daunting. So just having you there, I think you are an inspiration. And I hope that to our young people, especially young women listening, that they take that from you and use it also to push themselves further and to explore careers that maybe they thought wouldn't be for them. So I'd really love to thank you for joining us for this episode. It's lovely to have heard about your experience, but also, the practical sort of skills and upskilling that one can do. I think that was a good takeaway as well. So thank you so much for joining us for this episode.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you everyone for joining us for yet another inspiring episode where we had Vanusha, who is a security analyst. I hope you guys were motivated and inspired and most importantly, educated as well. And with that, please keep the conversations going on social media. Make sure to subscribe, follow, like, and comment, and just share all the knowledge amongst each other. Until next time, thank you.